So that's really, really important. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Scene Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Borak. I am here in the Scene Library with my good, wonderful friend, editor-producer, KJ. KJ is currently doing things, so he can't run over to the mic and give me a big hug and say hello. But know that he is here, and we are here, and we are so excited to bring you the interview today that we cannot believe that we got to do with Abe Koogler. Abe Koogler wrote Deep Blue Sound, which just premiered off-Broadway. Also, Staff Meal also just premiered off-Broadway. Absolutely killing it. One of the coolest, most specific contemporary writers that I love so much. Does an amazing job writing Community, which is something that I think is really interesting and hard to get on the stage. And I think Deep Blue Sound is a brilliant portrayal of that. We get so into Abe's work, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys about all of it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the show. This is the Scene Podcast. Did I say that? I think I said that. If I didn't, I there it is. If I did, I said it again. Welcome to the Scene Podcast. Let's get to our interview with Abe. KJ, let's get to the first segment. That's right. It's time for Theater in a Minute, where I explain something from theater past, present, or future as quickly as my brain lets me. Today's topic is one of my favorites, the Susan Smith Blackburn Award. So, KJ, let's get to it. Start the clock in 3, 2, 1. The Susan Smith Blackburn Prize is one of the most prestigious awards in English language theater, celebrating women plus playwrights whose work has made a significant impact on the stage. Founded in 1978, the prize was created in memory of Susan Smith Blackburn, an American actress and writer with a deep love for the theater. After her passing in 1977, her sister Ellen and brother-in-law William Blackburn established the award to honor her legacy and uplift the voices of women and non-binary playwrights across the world. Open to writers from the U.S., the UK, Ireland, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. This prize awards $25,000 to the winner and $5,000 to each finalist. Uniquely, it accepts both produced and unproduced plays, helping new and emerging voices gain recognition and opportunity. Over the years, the prize has helped launch or elevate the careers of some of the most influential playwrights working today. Notable past winners include Carol Churchill, Susan Laurie Parks, Sarah Rule, Annie Baker, oh my God, I love you, Lynn Nottage, Jackie Sills-Drury, and many more who've gone on to win Pulitzers, Tonys, and major other honors. By focusing on women plus playwrights, the Susan Smith Blackburn Prize addresses gender disparities in the theater and shines a spotlight on stories that might otherwise go unheard. It continues to play a vital role in shaping modern theater and amplifying diverse voices on the global stage. I was lucky enough to attend the ceremony this year. It was one of my favorite days of 2025, getting to see some of the greatest playwrights, I think, alive on a stage, talking about their work and talking about the disparity of gender currently in American theater and currently just in theater in general. It's one of the most important prizes that I think more people need to know about. And something that I like to do, I like to find these awards, find these things like the Susan Smith Blackburn Prize or the Kilroy List or anything like that. And now you have a website where you can go and see all of the brilliant new theater come to American Canon. If you're like, what am I going to read today? If you have 3 hours on a Saturday and you're like, I don't know what to do, go to their website. Look at all their finalists. Find their new play exchange. Find their published pieces. Order their plays and read them. Support these playwrights. Follow them on Instagram. Go find their websites. Join their mailing list. Be acquainted with these playwrights, because the playwrights that are getting nominated now are the playwrights that are going to be the Carol Churchills 10 years from now, are going to be the Paula Vogels 10 years from now, are going to be the Lynn Nottages 10 years from now. This is what they do. It's really, really cool to see such an early on look at these like playwrights, look at these people. I want to talk a little bit about the most recent group, because I got to go and I'm very excited. We have Chris Bush, we have Karis Corbin, we have Kiyoko Green, Haru Lee, Isabel MacArthur, Susie Miller, Elle Swent, Anna Ziegler, and the winner of this year, A.K. Payne. All of these playwrights are absolutely brilliant. All these playwrights are so, so good. I read a couple. I haven't been able to read all of them. Otherland by Chris Bush is amazing. You Are Cordially Invited to the End of the World by Kiyoko Green. Absolutely brilliant. Furlough's Paradise, A.K. Payne. A.K. Payne ended up winning for Furlough's Paradise, and it's a wonderful play that's now getting produced across the country. People are announcing their seasons right now, and I'm seeing it everywhere. Furlough's Paradise, it's so, so good. The Janiad by Anna Ziegler. Anna Ziegler's a friend and someone who is on this season as an interview and is brilliant. So just make sure you go check out the Susan Smith Blackburn Prize. It's an amazing way to find new playwrights, to find old playwrights, to figure out what your favorite playwrights are writing, and to learn about the women plus playwrights that are shaping the theater canon on our planet. And that's my long-winded way of saying I love the Susan Smith Blackburn Prize a lot, very, very much. Okay, that's the in a minute. All right, I am here with the brilliant, wonderful Abe Koogler, critically acclaimed Obie Award-winning playwright known for his plays Fulfillment Center at MTC, Kill Floor at Lincoln Center, Blue Skies Process at Goodman, and most recently, Staff Meal at Playwrights Horizons and Deep Blue Sound with Club Thumb. Abe is a recipient of the Dramatists Guild Lanford Wilson Award, the Weissberger Award, the Kennedy Center Paula Vogel Award, and so many more. He's an alum of Juilliard's playwriting program, and we are so lucky to have him today. Abe, how are you?
I'm great. Great intro.
Yeah, thank you so much. I feel like every person we have on the show is either really like flattered by the intro, or it's like awkward to hear someone just list all of your accomplishments as fast as they can.
I feel neutral about it.
Good.
I know all
That's
those
the first
things, and they're all accurate.
Sweet.
True.
I'm knocking it down. Good. Neutral. That's what I wanted. Yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm great.
We met a week or two ago at your play Deep Blue Sound. Mm-hmm. I got to go to the press performance of it. It was absolutely wonderful. We're going to talk about it, but I wanted to start about your beginnings. This is so the Scene podcast, we got to a ton of 300,000 subscribers, but we hit a lot of high school and college teachers. Mm-hmm. And I'd love to talk to every playwright about their beginnings and who were their inspirations growing up, what made them become a playwright. So if you want to talk a little bit about how you started in the arts and what drew you to this work, and if there were any teachers or any things that happened, especially during your education, that made you really lock in on this is what you wanted to do.
Yeah, well, I was a pretty shy kid. I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I was very, very creative and sort of odd. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't good at sports. We didn't have a TV in my house. I didn't have, I remember kids playing with Game Boys a lot on the playground. I didn't have any of that stuff. So I didn't really have a way to fit in. And I discovered theater early on as something I could do and get some recognition for in a limited way.
Yeah.
So I had a second grade teacher named Jan Smith, who I think saw that I was a bit of an outsider and let me write and stage my own plays, take classroom time to do that. I don't know how the other students felt about it.
In second grade?
In second grade.
Oh my! Yeah. Do you remember the first play you wrote?
I think I did an adaptation of Little Red Riding Hood.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, we can license this through Broadway license.
I was going to say that would sell really well.
Any interest. An
adaptation of Little Red would sell by Abe Koogler would sell very well.
It might have been 5 to 10 minutes long, but
that's okay.
Take it on the circuit.
Hey, that's fine.
Yeah. I wish I had a copy of it. So she let me write and direct my own plays, mm-hmm. and I also forced my little brother to do other adaptations of classic works mm-hmm. at home.
Now I'm thinking it's going to become a collection of short plays
written
by Abe Koogler between second and fourth grade.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Someday. And so I continued. I started to think of myself more as an actor, so I acted in a lot of community theater productions. There was a great arts center on the little island in the Pacific Northwest where I grew up, and continued to act in plays. But didn't really think of myself as a playwright for a long time, until I got into my mid-20s. Mm-hmm. I acted in college, and when I graduated from college, I worked in politics actually for a little while. I thought I was going to be like a campaign manager or a political operative of some type, an organizer, and was torn between that and pursuing acting. So after some time in politics, I moved to New York to study acting. I studied for 2 years at the Esper Studio, studied Meisner technique.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And had incredible acting teachers there who really helped convince me that a life in the theater, a life in the arts was possible and, an honorable, exciting thing to do. And then in my mid-20s, I was auditioning, trying to be an actor, and I just wasn't getting any traction. I felt very unhappy and blocked. And then took a class where I had to write a short play and just felt like something inside me really, really come alive. And then it was, game on.
Man. So your mid-20s is when you really started getting into like playwriting.
Yeah, I took a workshop at the Labyrinth Theater Company here in New York. Used to run these weekend workshops where you'd write, act. They were really new, producing your own work. So you'd write, act, direct little pieces that you'd written with other people. And I wrote like another 5 to 10 minute play. My first
an adaptation of
grade,
Little
maybe.
Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, and did it and just felt like this electrical charge in my body that let me know that was something I should keep doing.
What was your like first big step to be like when you were like, okay, I think I want to be a playwright. I feel good about doing this. What was your first step towards that career? Was it like going to college, or did you put up your own first play here in New York, or kind of what was that looking like?
I started taking classes at Primary Stages, has a theater school here in New York. A wonderful teacher named Julian Shepard, who's a great playwright, who was my first playwriting teacher, and he really encouraged me. So I took a couple, I was working a full-time job and just took it at nights, getting up really early to write a few pages and bring them in. Started writing, wrote my first full length in that context, and then just took a leap and applied to grad school for playwriting when I was about 26. I needed some direction in my life. I didn't know what to do. It felt like a big leap. I'd written 1, maybe 2 full-length plays at that time. I'd never had them produced. And the decision to go to grad school is a big choice, big investment of time and sometimes money. But I just decided to do it, got into UT-Austin and then had a wonderful experience there with some great professors there. Yeah. Who really solidified it as a life choice, not just a hobby for me.
Yeah, and that's when you kind of locked in on because I feel like your playwriting, it all lives within this very like Abe style. I feel like in the last like couple of weeks I've read so much of your work, and you've really developed a like, I don't know, like I feel like I could read like 20 plays, and if 3 of them were yours that I've never heard of and I didn't have your name on it, I'd be able to pick them out of the bunch because of your like specific use of dialogue and how you like run things so quick and then like hit a break really fast, and the way, I don't know, just the way your text works. But I want to talk about how you also often explore like a specific, you have similar themes throughout your plays. Like one of them is very much the tension between loneliness and community. And you create these like small intimate worlds that seem to like encompass these vast histories that you play so like intimately with the characters, but also look so vastly at large, big like motifs. Deep Blue Sound is a really great example of that, being on this small island town where everyone knows everyone, but also looking into environmentalism and how to explore like loss and how to like take it or how to accept it yourself when you have cancer, like when like something really big is happening in your life. Kill Floor is the same, or like the Unnamed Amusement Park in Bright Kingdom, which is one of my favorite. I love like interviewing playwrights and finding secret plays.
Oh, thank you for reading that.
Oh, yeah. I've read it like 3 times in 2 weeks.
Wow.
I love that play. I think it's great.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, I have sent B and C monologues to friends of mine.
Wow.
So, yeah, I hope you know that it might be being used on the audition circuit.
I love that. That's wonderful.
But yeah, like what draws you to this like specific style and these themes, and like how do you continue to kind of refine and explore it throughout your body of work?
Yeah. How to answer that? That's a great question. I think there are a couple things that are true about all my plays. The first is, I said I was interested in going into politics originally, and I always try to find a way to write about systems, political systems, economic systems, ecological systems, in a very human way. We all exist inside these larger contexts that we sort of understand and sort of don't understand and feel like are affecting our lives. So all of the people in my plays are sort of aware of themselves in a larger context and trying to make sense of it. Like the woman in Killfloor who has to get a job at this slaughterhouse killing cows. It's the only job she can find. And that is the context she's existing in the play. She's just trying to make the best of it. But what she really cares about is reconnecting with her son, trying to establish a life again after being in prison. So I'm interested in these larger systems, but I'm also interested in these very human stories, usually of, as I think you said, lonely people who feel a little adrift, who are trying to either form new connections or reconnect with people in their life who they've grown distant from.
Yeah.
And then my fundamental belief is that every play should be funny. So despite the fact that I just described a slaughterhouse play to you, there's a lot of laughs in that play when it's performed. I always try to lead with humor and have characters say surprising, unexpected things that surprise me as I'm writing them. I think humor's just very great for an audience. It gets them on the side of the play. It relieves pressure. It's just like, it's sort of the way I try to experience the world, and I try to make sure all my plays are funny. So that's really, really important.
You're really good at writing like comedic dialogue and not like a hard joke, because it, like when I was watching Deep Blue Sound, so much of that play, I cried like multiple times while watching it, and it like broke me. But there were so many moments where like there were lines that, I don't know, it felt like the actors were able to find some levity in very like serious situations, which let like me as an audience member breathe a little bit. You know what I mean? So I feel like you use humor in a really wonderful way, going back and forth between like, I want to make you laugh because I want this to be a comedy and I want it to be funny, but also I want to let you breathe after hearing some of these, like going through some harder scenes and stuff. You break it up really well.
Yeah. I don't think I would intentionally know how to write a joke if you paid me to do it. It's sort of just, if the play feels alive, and not everything, sometimes you write a play and it's not alive and you have to throw it away and start again. But when you're lucky enough to be writing a play that feels alive, the characters naturally relate to each other in funny ways and say weird things to each other or have tangents, and the other character on stage is like, what are you talking about? Or behave in inappropriate ways with each other. Yeah. There's that moment in Deep Blue Sound where the mayor just loses her stuff at a town meeting and can't contain herself and starts telling someone their idea is the worst idea she's ever heard in her life.
It's one of my favorite parts. It could have kept going for 20 minutes. Yeah. It made me laugh every time.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love that moment, and it's not really written to be funny, but the rhythm and in the mouth of the right performer, it becomes funny because it's just like a break in what you expect to be happening.
Yeah. In the scene. Yeah. Yeah. The way you use humor is wonderful. And I want to talk about, I've lived in New York for just about 8 or 9 months. Oh, wow. So okay. I haven't been here for super long. And one of the shows that I was so sad that I missed because I wasn't here was Staff Meal. I heard exclusively great things. And then I finally got to read it recently because it's recently published through Dramatists, and I was able to see the awesome SAE and the new, like, just sweet play. And I was reading it and I was like, oh my God, I wish I got to see this in person. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about your play Staff Meal, recently premiered off Broadway to critical acclaim. Can you walk me through the journey of this play? I know you started writing it in COVID, and kind of like what the journey was from like idea to writing to opening at Playwrights.
Yeah, so Staff Meal is a play about a very mysterious restaurant where lonely people meet for comfort, connection, and great meals at the exact moment that the world is ending outside. So it's a sort of apocalyptic love story about this very weird, beautiful, and bizarre restaurant. The play I'm sorry, what was the question?
Just like where it
Got
came
lost in my
from. Where did the no. Here's the thing. Great, just killer description. Where did the play like come from? Like where did you have this idea? Why did you write it? And what was it like kind of getting it up at Playwrights?
Yeah, I've always been interested in restaurants as sort of spaces where art is being made, like beautiful food is a type of art, service is a type of art. You go to a restaurant to have an experience with people you love and care about. It's not dissimilar from going to the theater, from making a play. And so I just love thinking about restaurants and great food and food as art. And I started writing this play in, I think, February 2020, writing this play about this restaurant. And 1 or 2 weeks into writing it, the pandemic started to hit New York City. So I was writing about restaurants at a moment when restaurants around the city were all closing down and going dark, and when in fact the whole city felt fragile and the whole country felt like it was going dark. The whole world felt like it was going dark.
Yeah.
So to be writing about these warm spaces where you come together in community at the exact moment that those spaces are threatened, gave this extra sort of electrical charge to the play and sort of added this kind of apocalyptic element that enters the play towards the end. So the play is quite wild. I think it's my wildest play. You know, it's very unusual. It starts with a man. It starts with a scene that feels like it could just be out of a sort of romantic comedy. A man and a woman kind of meet cute at a coffee shop and decide to go on a date. But it quickly becomes clear that the play is going to take some really surprising
wild turns,
left turns. Drops into unexpected areas. People come from places you wouldn't expect them to over the course of the play. Characters emerge who you wouldn't dream would be in the play. And the play sort of, the play itself becomes this whole world. Like it's a play with its own mythology, its own gods, its own, there's a whole universe contained within this play. And the journey of watching the play is, I think, the journey of discovering this strange little universe that's being built in front of you, and then watching that universe break down and disappear at the end of the play. In some ways it's a hard play to talk about because it's so unusual, but I think that's what makes it really surprising and exciting for, you know, adventurous audiences who are looking for that kind of experience.
Yeah. What was it like to get the play up at Playwrights? What was that process?
A dream. I mean, I've always wanted to have a play at Playwrights Horizons. And they artistically are so supportive. You know, when you have a play that's sort of unusual, you need people who really are going to trust you as an artist and invest in you and say, we're going to give you what you need to make this play in exactly the specific way you know it needs to be made. And I always felt that they had our back. And that allowed us to make a production that was as wild and specific and surprising as the play is, I think. You know, in some ways having a play up like this is terrifying because it's an unusual play. You can't control people's reactions to it. People have all kinds of reactions. It's not a traditional dramatic journey. So I sort of just had to give up control as a playwright and be like,
and let it run. And
this is a thing. People are going to encounter it in all kinds of ways.
I can only imagine what the audiences were like after that.
They were so wild. I mean, some performances they'd laugh all the way through. Some performances they found it very sad. It was very alive. Yeah.
I like the use of that word alive because it very much feels like one of those plays that could, depending on the production, depending on the cast, and depending on the audience in the room and what happened that day in the news. The show is very different every time.
Yeah. That's the hard thing about being a playwright. It's not a good thing to do if you value control because every night is different. The actors do different things. The audience is different. The show can be a couple minutes longer or shorter, which really affects the experience. And you cannot control what happens night to night in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Which is sort of like a Buddhist practice.
Yeah. On a similar note to talking about Staff Mila, your most recent play, Deeply Sound, went up at the Public Theater with Club Thumb. It was brilliant. We were just talking about my producer Lee is here. Both of us saw it, and I mean, it's absolutely wonderful. And I know that you grew up on an island kind of similar to the island from Deep Blue Sound. Was it inspired?
Yeah.
I wanted to talk a little bit about where the inspiration for this one came from. Did it come directly from like your upbringing? Because it seems like the environment might be the same.
Yeah, when I was 3, we moved from Seattle to an island called Vashon Island, which some listeners to this podcast might know, in Puget Sound, which is a wonderful place. There's a lot of artists there, a lot of creative people, a lot of people who work with their hands. Just a really, really vibrant community where people take care of each other. Everyone knows each other's business. There's a really strong feeling of community there in all the good and challenging ways that can show up. I think in a lot of ways because it's an island, so you literally take a ferry to get anywhere else. So, I lived there for a long time till I was 18, and that place has really stayed with me. A lot of the characters I grew up with, there were a lot of really idiosyncratic, interesting people. And I wanted to write about it. And I've always wanted to write sort of a community play, a play about what it's like to exist in a community, the challenges and the joys and the annoyances of that. So this play is a very particular community. It's very Pacific Northwest. They say that right from the beginning. The culture is very Pacific Northwest. But I do think that it will be recognizable to anyone who's lived in a small town or lived in any kind of group or tried to run a meeting with a fractious group of people.
Yeah. It very much felt like while I was watching it, because I grew up in Ohio, just outside of Cleveland, and it very much felt like while I was not on a small island 30 minutes off of Seattle, and I had all of these things kind of around me, it did feel like the relationships on the island felt very relatable while I was watching it. Just a small town where everyone is in your business and everyone knows what everyone is doing is incredibly relatable.
Good. Yeah, that's what I want. I want people to see their own pasts or presence in it when they come to see it.
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. I wanted to talk a bit about how the dialogue moves, and this kind of goes into my next question. Your writing has such a distinct rhythm, like in both your most recent plays, but especially Deep Blue Sound, where I got to see it. The dialogue moves quicker than I think I've ever seen like a playwright write before. Like especially that opening scene in Deep Blue Sound when everyone's kind of explained to the audience what we're all getting into, and they're talking over each other, and it just feels like it's like one of the only experiences I've had in the theater where I felt like they weren't actors. I felt like they were just like, they were real humans just talking to me. And they were so like in the moment. I didn't know, is there something about, do you write it with that intention? Is it just this production specifically? Like what's your process when it comes to writing specifically dialogue that moves so fast?
Well, I write it very, very fast.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to write a play any other way, and because I cannot write a good play if I'm thinking about it too much. So I really, I think a lot of people do this, but I really try to write it as quicker than my conscious mind can make it.
Yeah.
Or can think about it or start to doubt it. And in Deep Blue Sound, you can really feel that in the speed of the dialogue, and I think the sweep of it, the way it feels like a kind of body of water or a way, like
it does really
like
feel like it's whoosh. Yeah.
That's how I wrote it, and that's the rhythm of dialogue and the sort of physical experience of speaking it is really important to me as a writer. And I think actors who really do my work well can really key into that and understand the rhythms and the importance of the rhythms. Sometimes in the Deep Blue Sound process, if someone was struggling with an emotional moment or struggling with character motivation or something, we would say, well, just figure out the rhythm, just figure out the rhythm, and a lot of the rest of it will follow.
Will come when
so much of the meanings of the play and actually the emotions of the play are in the rhythm of the dialogue and the rhythm of the scene and the way one scene becomes another scene, because the scenes really flow into each other over the course of the play.
Do you picture that while you're writing, or is it something where like you're writing at this speed because that's the way your brain kind of moves as a playwright, and then when you're in a room, there's a lot of like figuring it out with the team and the cast and the director on how this text actually does kind of work as this wave? Or do you think that like, are you writing it and in your head you're like, I know exactly how this kind of looks? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I sort of have an intuitive sense of how it works, but there's so much you don't know about it when you enter a rehearsal room.
Yeah.
If it's a play, if it is a good play that I feel connected to, then I sort of always know what the right answer is in terms of the rhythm and the movement of it, just because it's intuitively clear to me. You know, if I've in some imaginary play I've had where I didn't feel as confident about it, it might be harder to make decisions in a rehearsal room. But with a play like Deep Blue Sound, it was just so clear how it needed to move and rise and fall that work became pleasurable.
Yeah, totally. The way you write just astounds me, and I'm so glad I got to see Deep Blue Sound specifically, because I feel like it is something that a lot of people, even though it is this very specific subset of community, a lot of people, young people, old people in the world, I think it's going to kill at community theaters, because it really just touches what a community feels like, a small community, and so many of those community theaters are set within that world and have those relationships all around them.
Yeah, that's so great to hear. It was really important to me in this play. You know, it's a play for 9 actors. It can be done with more. But I wanted each person in the play to have a full character and a character journey that they could live out on stage. And I think this play really does that. And it also has a lot of different kinds of people on stage. So in what, you know, at a community theater, you know, you have your different types of actors. You have you have your people in different niches, and I think this play really has roles for all different kinds of people. So yeah, you know, I hope it gets done. I think it's a great play in that context.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it really is one of those wonderful things where like this production at the Public with Club Thumb was a very like open concept where a lot of the actors stayed on stage for most of it, either like sitting way off or anything like that. But it felt like no one left the space, and like none of the characters were like left behind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone was very touched on, and all their primary characters really had like a beginning, middle, and end, but people shifting into these other roles. Like I forget the woman who played the daughter, and then like for the first scene played the pharmacist.
Yeah.
It cracked me up because she just was shifting in and out of these characters, like, or she shifted from that character to the other, from the opening part, and it just felt very communal the way the acting was done too. So it's almost like a different style of theater in general when I was watching it. It really did feel like very, very different than anything I've seen.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it moves quick. The actors can't get too comfortable on the side
when
the scene's not happening, because you have something else to say.
Yeah.
About 2 minutes later.
Yeah. But Abe, I want to ask you 2 more things before I end this. One, having gone through so many programs, having kind of figured out you want to be a playwright later on, and doing everything from like getting your master's to also taking classes that were just like classes after a full-time job. What's some advice you would give to someone who is a young playwright, kind of still trying to figure out if they are a playwright, if they want to be a playwright? Like, what is some advice you would give?
Stay connected to the people who love your work, even if it's someone you met in a workshop or a class. When someone understands and values what you're doing, remain friends with them, because you will need them in the future, and you will be friends with them your entire life. You know, I have a few close playwriting pals who I know understand and love my work, and it's hard to keep writing plays over the course of a life. There are a lot of ups and downs. You submit, you don't get an answer. Maybe you get a production and people like it or they don't like it. Maybe you can't write for a while and then you can write. There are just a lot of ups and downs. So anything you can do to keep you steady and keep you confident and remind you of the gifts that you do have as a writer and your own specific, unique skills is really valuable. I guess the other thing I'd say is that we really need playwrights. We really need people who love playwriting.
Mm-hmm.
And if you feel like it is something for you, if you find yourself responding to it, let's see. Don't by default try and be a playwright, TV writer, film writer. If you're able to, and not everyone is able to, really, really invest in playwriting and in theater, because we just desperately need great plays. We desperately need people who care about it and who are in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
So if that's you, please join us. It's not easy, but there's nothing else I'd want to do. It's so rewarding.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to ask, I ask everybody on the show. I love knowing what's happening. I love getting a scoop. I'm a big shot journalist. Is there anything you're working on that you're really excited about? Is there any like concepts that you're really excited about? Anything like that you can talk about a bit?
Can I be honest with you?
Yes.
Every play I've ever written comes out of nothing. Comes out of a feeling that I will never write a play again, that I'm at the end of the rope and I'm fried. I'm totally done.
Oh, God. Yeah.
It's a total absence. And then both Deep Blue Sound and Staff Meal, my last two plays, came out of that
Yeah.
nothingness. So I'm in a period of nothingness right now when all I have are some instincts. You know, I want to write. There are a few visual artists that I'm really inspired by. I want to work more with dancers and choreographers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of all I know and all I can say, for fear of killing whatever's
No,
coming next.
totally.
But it's always a leap into the total unknown. I really, every time I have to remind myself that it will happen again.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can say I'm so excited for whatever you do next, Abe. It was such an honor talking to you. Seriously, man. It meant the world. Yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It was a real pleasure.
And that's our show. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you so much to Abe. Go check out all of Abe's stuff. Go read Deep Blue Sound. It's one of my favorite plays ever. Go read everything Abe has ever written and produce everything Abe has ever written. And oh my God, just thank you so much, Abe, for being here and chatting with me. It's not very often that I get to see someone that we're interviewing. I get to see their play like within a week of like getting to interview them on the show. Like usually I've read all their stuff. I've usually seen their stuff in different places, but it's never really lined up where I get to see like an off-Broadway production of a play of a playwright that I'm having on the show within like a week of that time. So it was really, really cool to like go into this so freshly obsessed with Abe's work, which you could probably tell my obsession from the podcast. So thank you so much, Abe. Go check out Abe's stuff. Thank you to everyone on the team over at the scene. Zach, Leah, KJ, I love you all very much. The show would not exist without the three of you. And thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you go check us out on Instagram at The Scene News. Go check out our website, thescenenews.com. Subscribe to the newsletter, please, of course. And yeah, I'm going to end this episode the way I end every episode, but this time I'm going to end it as a student who did a monologue and is really, really confident. So like immediately, like right after the divorce papers, looks proudly at their faculty and goes, and scene. I did a finger guns and a wink at the end there. That's how confident that character was. Okay, goodbye. See you next time.